So we're going to talk about a really important concept that is key for you to find the quantity of prospects you need to land those 3 to 4 clients. Now, if you're smart and you're doing the math, and you know that only 5 to 10% of any given number of companies are in the buying window, you realize that in order to get in front of those people, you have to reach out to hundreds and hundreds of clients, hundreds and hundreds of prospects in order to land your first, 1 to 4 clients, right? You probably land your first client within the first 200, maybe 300, and then after that, you should be able to stack them on pretty effectively. But if I asked you to sit down and list out 200 companies you could reach out to, or if you just sat down online and tried to find them, it'd be really difficult. You need some starting information. You need to understand some different categories that you can reach out to, different niches that are going to be really, they're going to have these high margin prospects for you to reach out to. So let me explain to you what niches are and how to identify sub-niches so that in the next sprint, you can have a lot of starting points in order to go in and search for those different companies that fit in these different categories. So what is a niche? A niche in business and marketing it's basically a group of, it's basically a problem that is being solved by a business, right? Now, there are 3 big niches that are sort of like the umbrella niches for all other niches underneath. All the smaller categories can all tie into these big niches. And you understand what the top level ones are, so then you can get more and more specific and get more and more detailed to find these lower level or these smaller niches, right? So the big 3 niches, the first one is health. It's, again, humans have desires and problems around health. It's universal. It's one of the big niches, right? The second one is relationships. People have problems and pains and desire around relationships with other people, whether that's sexual or non-sexual relationships. It's extremely, it's a huge and a very painful problem for people to have. Number 3 is wealth. People want wealth. People don't have wealth. Their lack of wealth causes problems. Generating and creating income and generating and growing wealth are major problems, and they're universal. Humans have them. So you can kind of imagine, like, those are great overarching niches. But if I told you, hey, go look for people in the health industry, you wouldn't know who to search for. Do I search for hospitals, doctors, CBD, gummy creators? You wouldn't really know who to reach out to. It's too broad, right? You need to narrow it down. So I just described a very general problem, and the way to narrow it down and find smaller and smaller niches, again, needs that are being filled by a business, is to think of smaller needs, smaller parts of the problem, or more specific versions of the problem, or smaller specific groups of people within sort of the world that might have unique needs. So for the health example, let's identify some sub-niches. So within health, you might have fitness, right? People that are trying to get in better shape. You might have weight loss. You might have weightlifting, powerlifting, bodybuilding. These are sort of some smaller sub-niches within those categories. You can get even more specific, right? Weightlifting for diabetic people, online gymnastic training for people who are looking to increase mobility, yoga, yoga mats. Like, there are different problems within. There's a myriad of smaller problems within the overarching health niche, so to say, that have companies solving those problems, high margin companies solving those problems. So if you need to come up with hundreds and hundreds of companies to reach out to, your first step is to identify one of these big niches that you like, and then sit down and try and get narrower and narrower and narrower lists of different smaller categories within that larger niche. So online yoga training for this diabetic diet plan to reduce insulin. You can come up with all these smaller sub-niches if you start with one of the bigger ones and get more and more specific. This is going to be key. This ability to find a big niche and then break it down into its smaller niches is going to be extremely important for you when you're trying to generate the volume of prospects for you to reach out to find those 5 to 10% who are in their buying window, land them as clients so you can have 3 to 4 clients making you $10K.